Wildcard Weekend brought plenty of surprises, but for the 49ers, the questions are piling up. From block coaching moves to roster concerns and Brock Purdy's future hanging in the balance, there's a lot to unpack. Let's not waste any time, ladies and gentlemen. The 49 Problems. Let's start the show.
Yeah, this is Kyle Shanahan. You are now tuning into the 49 Problems, where these two guys try to act like they know more than me. All they do is talk shit. 100% unfiltered, uncut fan reactions. Here to talk about all the drama. And now your hosts, Kyle J. Vigil and Ray J. Garcia. Assholes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 49 Problems. As always, Kyle J. Vigil, joined today by the one and only, your co-host with the most, Ray J. Garcia. The unpaid intern, Cortez, who just hit his funny bone.
Cortez, the unpaid intern.
Always something funny going on with him and his funny bone. We're touching knees today. Still working on a layout here. What's up, my step bros? In the middle of these playoffs.
Yeah.
In the middle of these playoffs, chilling, enjoying some football with the 49ers aren't in it. Shit. How we going to check in? How y'all doing this week?
I'm good.
It's
work shit.
Tomorrow's
the
start of the Donald Trump presidency.
The start of the Donald Trump presidency is the NCAA championship game.
Oh yeah, that's right, huh? Notre Dame versus fucking
State. It's also MLK Day.
That's right. I'm off. Observed holiday. Because I'm a union worker now.
Keep comment to myself.
It's an observed holiday.
No, I know, but you said you're a union worker.
I thought you were saying because I'm off. Yeah, but yeah, man, this for the 49ers, maybe not like too much news this past week, but the last episode we recorded on a Friday night before the playoffs started. You been paying attention to the playoffs at all? You just floating through the world, huh?
Nah. Fuck you. I watched the Chiefs versus who?
I
didn't watch it too much. I watched a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't really watch it.
I was a little bit I'm like batting 50-50 right now because
I watched the Detroit Lions versus the Commanders, the Warriors.
Yeah. See, I'm batting 50-50 right now because
You said the Warriors?
Shut up, the Commanders. The Washington Redskins.
You said the Warriors?
The Washington Redskins. Nah, Washington Redskins. They're supposed to bring their name back. They're going to sign a petition. When we left off Friday, we recorded, me and him, we kind of had like a little bit of predictions for these playoffs. Like I said, I'm kind of like batting 50-50 right now. I called Washington was going to beat Tampa Bay, and called Washington was going to beat fucking Detroit yesterday, but it's funny because I'm kind of biased. And like my bias might be helping me, but I also said I thought the Rams were going to beat Philadelphia. Philadelphia went on to advance today, so they won 2 in a row. And so the NFC Championship game is set. Washington versus Philadelphia, and then right now we're waiting on the decision between the Baltimore and the Buffalo game. But you got Lamar throwing picks, still tied up when we entered the room. So I don't know.
You know what I was going to see if I can get that.
But yeah, one of the things I wanted to kind of talk about though with Ray, Taco Bell, and when I do my voice chat, when I take my notes and I say I want to talk about for the podcast, and I'll go back through it and it says I want Taco Bell, and it'll say Brock Purdy. I want Taco Bell, Brock Purdy. This is the voice chat, and I have weird accent because I'm white, you know. Anyways, y'all ever like listen to the radio, like, or just turn it on? Like it's like 102.5 or like the Sacramento radio stations. And you get all these stupid ads for Top Dog Law.
Yeah.
You ever heard those? Have you seen how like out of the pocket like they're getting now?
No.
Yeah, like the other day, there's one on there where the lady's like, or the dude's like the phone rings and he's like, "Baby, I've been in an accident. It's really bad. Your daughter's not gonna be okay. There's blood everywhere. Get every dollar you can." Bro, the fucking commercials are getting out of hand. But yeah, that's what I kind of want to just talk about. You brought up, or me and you kind of had this little thing going on with the Brock Purdy and the whole, like our little text thread this week. We said those were kind of be our notes. Me and you kind of were already hitting bases on it before we started the pod, and I was like saying like let's save it for the episode.
Fumbled again.
Yeah,
Told you Lamar's gonna give this game up.
bad snap and a fumble. Yeah, he put the ball down. Weather conditions.
Can we get copyrighted?
Yeah.
No, in the background.
Nah, I don't think so. Oh, maybe, I don't know, but we ain't big enough yet.
Not it don't got no audio.
We ain't big enough yet. So, well, again, right? One of the things you and I kind of talked about, or like a growing theme that we and you had going this week was the whole quarterback debate. You know, and you said like how some of these playoffs might have helped Brock Purdy, because like people like Justin Herbert, high-paid quarterback that hasn't done anything, versus Brock Purdy, underpaid quarterback that Jordan Love, high-paid quarterback that hasn't done anything. I also see people throwing out the possibility that if you have the Yorks saying, okay, we've given Kyle Shanahan the reign to do whatever he wants, you know, in 8 years, right? Never invested in an offensive line. And maybe that was a product of him saying, like, I'm not fully sold on this quarterback or whatever, right? That kind of contradicts the fact that they made Jimmy Garoppolo highest paid quarterback in the league at one point. So the 49ers have precedence to do this before, right? That they will make a QB one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league, right? However, the Trey Lance thing, right? So that was a bad move on Kyle Shanahan, right? They traded 3 first-round picks. And I brought this up the other day to somebody that I think that's part of the reason why we have depth issues now, right? Those 3 first-rounders, a first-rounder is a hit or miss, right? There's no guarantee that you're going to draft someone that's ever going to be – it's boom or bust with the first round, right? So – but imagine if one of those guys was able to, if we got one of those draft picks to beat depth this season, it could have been huge with all these injuries, right? So the whole Trey Lance thing, that's another knock on Kyle Shanahan. So that's the one thing that's kind of making me be like, okay, maybe all of what's going on this year, because regardless of your take on Lamar, like I understand, like maybe you're not the biggest fan of Lamar, but he does have the second most accolades next to Mahomes right now.
Not that I'm not a big fan of Lamar. I just don't think Lamar's ever going to take his team and win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that quarterback. Dude, he's dynamic. He could have fucking 5 MVPs at the end of his career, but he ain't going to have a Super Bowl.
Josh Allen just rushed for a touchdown.
And that's
dude. He has design runs, bro.
Allen, no, he's not that dynamic quarterback down and extend the play and run it. But this was a design
rushing touchdown for Josh Allen to get right now. It's just, you know what I mean?
It's a sneak. That's what
it was 3 yards out, but
that's what you do when you're trying to get a first down or the goal line. I mean, that plays in every.
I'm not trying to contradict you, but that game against the Niners, Josh Allen ran all over us, design runs. You know what I mean? Because it was snowing. Like he's one of the most versatile. But I don't call him a mobile quarterback. So that's one of the things I think me and you like we let like the definition of it kind of escape. Is I guess I use it freely and like you use it literally. Like so, like in the past there was mobile quarterbacks. Cam Newton.
When we're talking about, you know,
who's the best?
When we're talking about the reason they came up is because we're talking about Brock Purdy and his contract, and you kind of compared him to Josh Allen's mobile. He's mobile.
Josh
Allen ain't a mobile. He could move. He could move for a quarterback, but he's not a mobile quarterback. The offense ain't designed to be ran through him like Baltimore's is, like Washington's is, like, you know what I mean?
But I mean, honestly, I have to say
it's designed for his arm, to use his arm.
But he's also known as one of the most mobile quarterbacks in the NFL. Like he's, you know what I mean?
But the offense ain't designed. There ain't plays designed for him to pull the ball down and run, and that's what I'm saying when I talk about a mobile quarterback.
But he also so did you see the head-to-head stats for him and Lamar this year? Like they're like almost neck and neck, right? But Lamar has more passing yards. Their rushing yards, I can't remember exactly what it is, but they both have over 40 plus touchdowns. They're the most 2 dynamic QBs next to Mahomes. They're probably they're the 2 competing MVP front runners right now. So whoever wins this game is more likely than not going to get the MVP. I'm not saying like I just think Josh Allen is kind of like the like a bad example for him not being a mobile, because he is pretty mobile though. He uses his legs a lot.
Ben Roethlisberger.
That's what
But he wasn't a mobile quarterback.
And that's what. Okay, that's what I'm saying though.
He wasn't considered a mobile quarterback. He was never.
I know. That's why I tell you. That's why I said. That's why I said like I think you and I have to like kind of agree on that definition. Like when I say mobile, I think you say like I'm referring to like someone just being a mobile. No, I'm referring to their like that being an asset if you have mobility, right? So the fact that the best quarterbacks in the NFL now aren't pocket passers. We've seen that Sam Darnold, right? Everybody thought that he had a career resurgence. Me and you sat right here in this pod and I said, watch, dude, Sam Darnold's going to Sam Darnold in the playoffs. What did he do? He's Sam Darnold. I said Jared Goff is going to be a statue. What did he do? He threw like 4 picks yesterday. So the quarterbacks that are having the most success right now are Jalen Hurts. He's in the NFC Championship game. Jaden Daniels, NFC Championship game. Patrick Mahomes, AFC Championship game. One of these guys is more or less one of the best mobile quarterbacks in the NFL. That doesn't mean that's his only. Like I'm not. Yeah. I see what you mean. Like that's not his only thing.
So I'm going to tell you this: Josh Allen's going to win the Super Bowl, and he's the only quarterback that is not classified as a mobile quarterback.
But he is though. I'm telling you.
But what I'm saying, the classification when you look at the stats and his classification ain't classified as a mobile quarterback like a Michael Vick. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like those guys don't really have that success no more. And Jaden Daniels, if you're saying that, like Jaden Daniels,
with record books,
yeah,
it's not going to go down as a mobile quarterback one.
I know, but I know that's why I keep saying that. Like I'm not calling him a mobile quarterback. Like I'm saying that is an asset that these guys who are the best have, right? And Brock Purdy's in that category because he has the ability to get mobile. He has the ability to extend plays. He has the ability to rush. He can rush for touchdowns. Josh Allen does that better than anybody in the NFL. You know what I mean? When he wants to. Lamar's doing it right now. He's, you know what I mean, running all over the field, but that doesn't make them mobile quarterbacks. Lamar passed for 4,200 passing yards this year.
Lamar was drafted for his mobility as a runner, not just as a thrower.
Okay, yeah, okay, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
wasn't.
And that's why I tell you, like, I think maybe you think I'm only referring to like the fact that they're mobile, but I'm not referring. I'm referring to the fact that they have that as one of their tools, right? And look at the remaining quarterbacks.
When you compare them, you compare like Allen to Lamar, which Lamar's classified as a mobile quarterback.
In that regard, yeah, like if you were looking, where is he better?
You're trying to justify it by, Lamar threw this many passes to you. A quarterback has an arm. That's what they get.
And that's what he developed, though, because his first couple seasons, he wasn't that good of a passer. Like, his arm has gotten better over the years. Josh Allen came in as a better passer, better deep ball, better accuracy down the field. You know what I mean?
Now, with that being said, I'm going to kind of go off topic here. And you said Lamar was able to develop a stronger arm, a better arm. Now, you said you've seen Brock Purdy's ceiling. Why ain't you giving Brock Purdy the ability to develop better when Lamar's had 8 years in the NFL already? Brock Purdy's only had 4.
The only reason I would say that,
why won't you give him the same?
They have very different physical traits. Brock Purdy's smaller. He's not as fast. He doesn't have as much. He's not as strong. And a lot of people.
He's already built his arm stronger than when
he's also got hurt every year he's played in his throwing arm. Every season.
Say this last season was an injury. I think that was.
How many games did he miss because of injury this year?
In his throwing arm?
Yeah.
First throwing arm?
Yeah.
The last 2 games?
This year. He missed like week 9 or some shit because of the shoulder. Remember, he went down on it, and they brought in Brandon Allen, and he fucking threw like 3 interceptions. And then at the end of the year,
he went out of a game.
No. Brandon Allen got to start. They said he wasn't playing, and then he missed another game later in the season.
Oh, you're right.
And then the last game they just benched him, so he didn't play 3 games this year, but 2 of them were due to shoulder throwing arm injury. That's another reason why I don't believe Brock. I believe when I say Brock Purdy's ceiling, I think when I say that, it's not about like clutchness and all that. The team around him can still put Brock Purdy in these situations to make clutch plays, to make.
But I think you could take Brock Purdy and put him on any team, and he's gonna make that team good. He's gonna be good on any team. I don't think he's limited just because he's on the Niners. I mean, when we see his production go down this year, I think it's more like I've told you before. I think it's Shanahan. His play scheme is for the starters, as you've said. They have no depth, so he could only scheme for the starters.
And so when
Ricky Pearsall having a down year, that has to do with him not having the fucking off season, him not going to minicamp, him not going to none of that stuff, him getting shot. So there was no kind of chemistry between them. And even if he would have got that, being a rookie wide receiver, he's only maybe going to catch one pass from Brock Purdy. All his passes are going to come from Josh Allen or Brandon Bean. So the can't be there really either. So.
No, well, back to the question you asked me about why I don't think Brock has the potential to, like, you say this, like, can his ceiling increase, right? So I think there's areas, I think we've kind of talked about this, where I think there's areas where it can, but at this point too, like, I don't think the physical side of his ceiling, like, I don't think that, like, maybe he can become a more accurate passer, but that doesn't mean he's going to get, he's going to start making 70% of his throws 35 yards down the field. Like, he's probably going to become more accurate in the mid range where he's best at, right? You know what I mean? Like, so I just don't see him.
He can throw a deep ball.
But it's not accurate, though. He relies on anticipation. He floats a lot of his balls in there. He doesn't have a zip on it. He can't throw it in there like Lamar.
Out of the pocket, he floats his balls. But when he's in the pocket, he throws some zip on it.
He didn't do it.
That was one of his critiques, is he didn't have enough zip.
And it's gotten better. That's what I'm saying. Like every time I criticize him, that's not to take away from what he can do as well. Because I've watched these games right with you, so I'm right there cheering when he does something fucking phenomenal. You know what I mean? He's a fucking great quarterback. You know what I mean? He's done great things.
I just feel like you're ready to throw him to the curb.
Oh no.
Because you're like,
I just say
drafted new quarterback.
No. I just
feel so young. He could be our future.
Okay, but why not hedge your bets?
But it sounds like you're just ready to throw him to the curb, bro. Like,
no, I said make him play his contract out. Let's see who he really is. Bring in another quarterback. Have a healthy QB competition. You know what I mean?
But at the same time, that no quarterback has ever came in and had the success he has and been forced to play their contract out and not gotten a contract.
And that's why he's going to get paid. But that's why I'm against it. Because look at what we're seeing. So, but what about what? Okay, no, hold on. What about you asked me earlier, like how all these other quarterbacks not doing well helps Brock Purdy. What about that makes you confident? Like if you're just seeing these quarterbacks not do anything in the playoffs.
It don't. But I told you I agree with you. But at the same time, it's
yeah. You see what I'm saying? So we're gonna pay Brock Purdy to do what Justin Herbert did.
I mean, you could say that same argument. We paid Debo to do what?
We paid Debo for past performance. What he did. Yeah. No, we paid Debo to come out and hold that stupid ass boombox and dance with Trent Williams. That's what we were paying him for.
You know what I mean? Like, we'll see. We'll see if he lives up to it. But
most definitely.
Cortez ain't living up to the unpaid fucking title.
Nah. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. We're live.
What you talking about?
So for these
what you talking about?
For our little smoke sessions, I think this would be a good time to start doing our just reacting to like some of this Instagram shit I got going on here. Oh, did you see everybody saying that that's the reason why the Lions lost?
No, I didn't. I seen something about him performing.
Bro, everyone's saying like, why would you?
Tweaker, what's it called? Tweaker?
Yeah, have you heard this song?
Shit, you need but Jack.
Oh no, this ain't it. But
I was gonna say you can't play it.
Nah, well, we probably could because there's so many Instagram clips on it. But everyone's like, bro, you guys got so many iconic players. After I seen that, bro, I was like, imagine being in that locker room.
Okay.
Or iconic artists from Detroit that could have, and this was a viral TikTok song, technically.
Yeah.
And I say, dude, imagine being in that locker room and you're like, dude, like, this is it. We're finally in the playoffs. We're one game away, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, fucking this meme comes out and he's like up in the corner. So, you know what I mean? You're like, what the fuck? Like, Detroit knew they were going to lose. Jaden Daniels is the beast, bro.
That's what you're saying about this.
So I thought this was interesting.
No, but okay, you mentioned about them having Detroit having superstars.
Yeah.
Going back to the Niners, the team.
Yeah.
So we talk about all the superstars we have, bro. Do you think other teams look at us and these guys got all these superstars, bro? Because I mean, we'll look at like Detroit and Amon-Ra St. Brown's good. They got some fucking
their running backs are dope as fuck.
No, they are, but they got two dope ass receivers too that were fucking tearing shit up last season. You know what I mean? Do you think they look at the Niners and be like, fuck, they got Debo. We got to go against Debo, Ayuk, or do you think they're just like, fuck, the Niners are good, man. If they didn't have McCaffrey, we could shut them down. Or, you know what I mean?
I think.
Do you think the way we view our team as star-studded other teams or other fans view our team as star-studded like that?
If I could take you back to the last season, right? If I could take you back to last season during that first little skid, Cleveland. They were the first team to come out before the Niners. We were on a 5-game winning streak. We just demolished the Cowboys, right? 49ers are in the media talking about we're the best team in the NFL. We set our, they say we're going to the Super Bowl. Like, that's our goal. Cleveland was over there like, we don't think they're that good. They were like, we're going to be happy to take them off their high horse. They came out and punched the Niners in the mouth, right? So I think there's teams that once they see that blueprint, like Chiefs are one of them. Chiefs have no reason to fear the 49ers, and I think the 49ers fear the Chiefs. But I think there is teams that it's like because of how'd you say, the history, not the history, but like what Shanahan has done, what this team has done, there is teams that do look at the 49ers like that. And yeah, I think we let our bias as fans affect our evaluation of what this team really is. And I think that's what you agree with me on, maybe like more than half of the things I come up with. The other half of the time you say, like, that'll never work, or like, that's crazy, right? Because sometimes I just come up with crazy shit. After the Super Bowl, maybe I was a little too down on the team, but I kind of said, we're not going to have that good of a season. I still thought we were going to make it to the playoffs, but I thought we were only going to win like 10 games, remember? And I said that this was part of it. I predicted injuries. I predicted fucking attrition. I predicted the Super Bowl hangover. I just thought the 49ers were good enough to play through it. And maybe the injuries were that big of a factor. We're going to get another chance to see this season. You know what I mean? So even if they.
So my question to you is, do you think the 49ers can still be a dominant team, a force to be reckoned with? Maybe not a Super Bowl championship team, but an NFC championship team, or NFC, make it to the NFC championship,
So I think me and you might have already we didn't do like a deep dive on why.
But I'm just asking, do you think, like, so this year, I mean, we already know it's over. We're going into the NFC championship game. We're going to see who plays next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But moving on next year.
Short answer for 2025, no. I don't think there's anything the 49ers can do right now to get us back. I don't even think we can win the division. Because that week schedule also applies to the Rams, the Cardinals, and Seattle. They're pretty much going to play all the same teams we play, and we all have to play each other. There's just a couple of the tiebreakers are like those other random 2 or 3 road games, We see what they did to us in the division this year. So that goes back to the blueprint. Like, teams kind of got us figured out, bro. You know what I mean?
Say now, we don't at least make it back to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Next year, we're in a complete rebuild stage. We're going to be obsolete, bro, because you got Washington coming up. You got all these young players on Washington.
I think we're obsolete right now. Until they get back
we're
there.
We're not talked about as an obsolete team. We're still talking about as
by us. Like by 49ers.
The media. No, all media still talks about the Niners as they're talking about the Niners going back next year. You know what I mean? That's why I'm asking you. I mean, it's easy for us to say. Raider fans still say they're going to win the Super Bowl every year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just the diehard fan and what we believe in as our team. And, we're red and gold till we're dead and gold.
And when you say diehard, was that with the hard R? Because that's a retarded fan base. Well, imagine.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know our expectations for the team, for the Niners next year. But in reality, if you look at the way the NFL is playing now, all these young teams are starting to do good. You got Chicago sitting in the background right there. They're about a 500 team right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they got a young quarterback.
Yeah. But a lot of that relies on.
You got Washington, who came out of nowhere, bro. Nobody gave them a chance. And they just knocked off fucking. And
there's no guarantee they could do it again. But a lot of that relies on.
It's just something to build off.
Them. I was gonna say, but a lot of that relies on how Kyle Shanahan can invent himself. The league has figured out almost everything he threw at them, right? Because so many teams are designed with his system now, right? And he refused to move from the wide 9 the past 2 years in a row, and the wide 9 hasn't had success. You know what I mean? Since Steve Wilkes.
It's just not under him. It's just not in his office.
Well, I think a lot of teams have moved away from the wide.
He's still right.
I like off my head. I don't know how many, but I know some that's not as prominent. Kyle Shanahan's been running it for 9 years, so he hasn't evolved. Versus like I see somebody talking about John Harbaugh.
think
in Baltimore, like he changes schemes. He changes schemes around his strengths. Kyle Shanahan like kind of tries to bring players into his system and his strength.
that's his.
And it's not a again, right? Like there's moves they can make this year that would make me more confident. I just don't think there's anything that they could do. I was saying like when I smoke, it's hella hard for me to continue like with one like sentence. I was like, that's why I wanted to do more of like little reactions until we put the blunt out, you know? Did you see this? I just thought this was interesting because when was the last time Washington was in a championship game? You haven't seen any of these? Michael Jordan won his first championship. That had been what?
80? 91?
The first one? Earlier than that, right?
1991. It says it on his hat.
You're right. Sonic the Hedgehog debuted. Sounds about right, 1991. The first website was introduced to the world.
Pornhub.
Average price of gas was $1.14 per gallon. Holy shit. Can you imagine that, dude? Update Buffalo and Baltimore 14-10. Yeah, I wish we can get back to that. Soviet Union Super Nintendo SNES released in the US. Chuck Noll retired. You were pretty young for that still, huh?
Fuck this Chuck Noll.
Looks like it was Steelers.
Well, yeah, he was the one before Bill Cowher. So Steelers only had like fucking 6 coaches in there.
Oh,
and the whole thing, it was fucking. I know Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and dude that's now Mike Tomlin.
Said he might get traded.
I've seen that. Hey, but that's what I wanted to talk about too. That was
potential trades,
coaching. You know, like because Saleh is one of our big target for.
Oh, okay, that's what I really want to get into. Let me let's do this couple of these real quick, and then I'll pause it. And it'll be the next segment. We'll bring up. I really want to talk about the Saleh thing real quick. Texted you about this earlier. Did you ever see this play, Junior? Cortez. So, little backstory. Longtime 49er fans, right? This was this is before Kyle Shanahan, Jim Harbaugh, right? This was 11 years ago. So Jim 49ers have been trash for years, right? This fool comes in, immediately turns the team around. We win like 11, 12 games. We go to the NFC Championship game, we lose, right? We don't go to the Super Bowl. Next year, 49ers run it back, right? Dominant team. Colin Kaepernick, the rising Colin Kaepernick. Jim Harbaugh is like a genius offensive coach, right? Takes us to the Super Bowl. We go to overtime, fucking losing the Super Bowl, right? Heartbreaking for 49er fans. 3rd year in a row, this fool takes us all the way to the NFC Championship game, and this is the final play of the NFC Championship game. Wasn't it 4th down, too? I think. And he chooses to pass it.
It's game over. Take me through it.
Well, I'm the best corner in the game. When you try me with a star like Crabtree, don't you won't get. Don't you ever talk about me.
Talking about you.
Don't you open your mouth like this. I'm gonna shit for you real quick. 40 seconds to play the game.
Crap. I remember being so fucking mad as a 49er fan after that. This was a Patrick Willis.
So, what are the other Patrick Willises of the world?
Did you ever see this commercial? I've never seen this commercial before. That was a real fucking commercial with Patrick Willis. Talk about 49ers history. We'll save that one for another time. I had a couple I wanted to show Cortez because he hasn't been on the pod in a while. Since he like rap, there's this guy that raps. He kind of looks like you too.
We can't turn the clock back. I know it's after midnight. We can't turn the clock back and turn it back into the mid 80s. We can't turn the we can't turn the clock back. I know it's after.
That was for Cortez again.
Can't turn the black cock back.
Did you guys ever see this one? About this Asian chick?
All right, so everyone that's wanting context regarding that video, I'm going to give it to you really quickly. I'm going to play the knockout in just a second, but I want you to know the knockout isn't even the craziest part about this whole situation. Bless you. And the unfortunate and scary thing about that knockout is that her opponent actually had to get stretchered out of the octagon. All right, now I'm going to tell you about the funny thing about her that people are calling the most Asian shit ever. So just a fun fact, Xi Ming is a doctor, insane, but that's not even the best part. This is the best part. Her parents had no idea she was even fighting. They have no idea that she's a fighter. No one has no idea what she does. They thought she was at a tournament where you're like breaking bricks with your elbows, and she just sent someone to the hospital in a stretcher. KO of the year.
She's she works at the hospital that the chick got knocked out is gonna go to. And she does like brain trauma and shit. That's crazy. She fucking slept that bitch with a high kick. You ever seen this one?
Homies at? I'm right here. Right here, Long Beach Boulevard. Where the homies at? Pull up right now. Got me, huh? Got me, huh? I'm right here. Counter squad me. Who's that? Pull up right now. Got me, huh?
You seen? I've never seen Howler.
You know the Martin show?
Hey, here's another rapper that's better than you, Cortez. Deaf man rapping. The first when DMX tried to act like he wasn't.
They don't know what it is. They don't know what it is.
Hey, DMX was a fool. That was your era, huh, Ray? You guys aware of Anna Victoria? Becomes world's first lawyer with Down syndrome. Cortez, imagine you get falsely accused of murder and you're sitting in court and they're like, here's your court appointed lawyer, and it's fucking Anna Victoria, and she comes walking in. Fuck is Anna Victoria? The world's first lawyer with Down syndrome. Are you pleading guilty right there? We'll be right back. We back on the 49 Problems. We're gonna dive in. You said you want to talk about coaches and Saleh and that whole situation, right? And I wanted to tell you, did you see where they said that they want to make him the highest paid defensive coordinator in the NFL?
Yeah.
So for some reason, and you can, this is what I want to bounce off you, right? This is my opinion on this. 49ers are going out of their way to make it known what they want, right? Now, everybody in the NFL knows what they want, right? Saleh has interviewed so far for 3 different head coaching positions?
Yeah.
And I haven't heard him turn down or be denied from any of them because none of them have filled those positions yet that I know of. Jacksonville, what was the other one? I know it's Raiders, Jacksonville, and Dallas, right? He interviewed with all 3 of those for head coaching positions. My thing is, you're putting it out there that you're willing to make him the highest paid defensive coordinator in the NFL. You're pretty much saying, we're going to give you head coach money. We're already paying a head coach. You're acknowledging that Kyle Shanahan, you don't think so?
But I mean, at the same time, he is a head coach, and if he were to take it, he'd be turning down head coaching jobs. So you're kind of
compensating.
Yeah, you're kind of competing with
head coach. Yeah, that type of money. And there's no cap on how much you can pay the coaches. My thing is, let's say
against cap. Yeah.
So let's say he ultimately chooses to go elsewhere. Doesn't that kind of like leave egg on 49ers face? Like the organization, like, okay, now what? You just put it out there that this was, they said it's boom or bust, like technically him or bust. You know, they want him or it's nothing. And if it's not him, then what?
I would agree with you, but they've already named a defensive coordinator.
They named a DC?
Right? They said they're going to hire a DC from within, and they got in trouble. Yeah, but I thought they were going to promote a.
No, they demoted Nick Sorensen, and he's going to be.
They were going to promote the other dude that was the advisor, playing the advisor role.
Oh no, they said that he's on the short list. Yeah,
they were saying
they interviewed him already. Yeah. Staley.
Yeah. So I'm thinking from the outside looking in, yeah, it looks like all the eggs are in the Saleh basket, but maybe they're saying that knowing that Staley's there who they want. If Saleh's there, then they're taking the best option.
Well, I don't know. The strategy behind that is so weird because I'm like, if he chooses to go somewhere else, I think that kind of like.
They've already said they want Staley from the start.
Yeah.
You know, they were saying at the end of the season that.
Yeah.
What's his name didn't work out. Staley was going to step up and fill that position. So.
Yeah.
I think the Saleh thing. Yeah, we are. I don't necessarily think we're putting all our eggs in one basket with that.
They made it sound like it is.
Well,
number Matt Barrows.
I think if they do hire Saleh, they are going to make him the highest paid defensive coordinator. But
yeah,
if they don't get that, then they're going to just stick with Staley.
But then doesn't that also almost sound like something like just to say they did it, like because I tell somebody the other day I was like I could picture it now, right? Let's say Saleh doesn't have the same success, like okay, so you immediately come in with high expectations, right? You're expected to turn the defense around. So the first thing that everyone's going to say is, oh, you're the highest paid defensive coordinator in NFL and you're not doing your job, or like this defense isn't successful. I think this defense got old, for one. You know what I mean? And we lost the run game just got atrocious, or the run defense got atrocious.
Defense, Warner.
And then lack of depth, you know. Well, They are, but they've been playing for a while. Now they are. Yeah. Well. Okay, so it got old, and then now so let's say the offense and defense.
That brings us up to the Dre Greenlaw. We discussed it earlier.
Yeah.
With that being said, the defense, do we want to? I mean, we've talked about getting rid of players too soon before it's too late. Or Greenlaw's up for contract.
Yeah.
Or he's not going to be with us. As fans, we don't want to see Greenlaw leave.
Yeah, most definitely.
I think he's. Him and Fred Warner are
the tandem.
Yeah, they go together.
They're
peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, salt and pepper.
They're Cortez and Billy.
Yeah.
You're saying to yourself, the defense is too old. So do we want to hold on to an old piece of that defense? Or do we want to try to improve it? And I'm not saying improve through free agency because we've seen how that worked out with Devondre Campbell. But we did pick up some young linebackers 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so you ain't gonna get they ain't as dynamic as Greenlaw is, but
that's what I was gonna say, right? So right now we kind of have like this, like you could kind of say that this defense this year was like a developmental year for the younger, because we have a lot of young players on the defense. You are right? Maybe next year that trends upwards, right? But you talk about the injury prone play, like whether or not it's an age thing, right? I think Greenlaw to me kind of has maybe the better probability of returning to form. He looked pretty well this year, and he looked good. Like when he returned right away, dude fucking had most tackles on the team, more tackles than anybody else had all season in one game, right? Like he had like 8 or 9 tackles in like the half or something like that, and he looked fine. And then like obviously like it flared up, and then so like maybe they got cautious with him, and then I think when they realized the season was a wash, I think they shut him down. I don't think he got hurt again.
What I was getting at is you might not get that aggression that you get out of Greenlaw from D Winters.
So give us the 1 year, right?
But D Winter steps up or Jalen Graham steps up. Maybe they don't got that aggression that you're getting out of Greenlaw.
So
you get the same. Play skill,
production. Yeah.
But you get that aggression now. All 3 of our safeties, and that's if we resign. All 3 of our safeties come up and
hit.
You know what I mean? They come up and hit. So maybe that lack of aggression at the linebacker gets picked up at the next level. You know what I mean? So would that be something you're kind of willing to be like, okay, I could see us parting ways with Greenlaw for something like that?
Thing it right. So I was gonna say, like earlier, you kind of asked me if there's a way do I think they'll be able to get to the playoff championship game like type level again like this season? And I said I don't think there's really anything they could do, but I think without Greenlaw, I think their chances immediately diminish because we've seen what it is without him already, right? So there's also moves. The 49ers can make that helps those things, right? You said we shouldn't do the free agent route again, but I think there is certain players that if there's maybe not free agent, but if they're open for trades or if there is other free agents, you could bring them in. You know what I mean? Like I see people throwing out some crazy shit, but there is options out there. You know what I mean? But that's this time of the year. Yeah, that's this time of the year.
We're kind of getting off it. It's the whole thing was about Saleh, not.
No, it's a good thing what you're saying because okay, so what do they have to bring Saleh over here? You're offering him the oldest Warner he's ever had, the oldest Bosa he's ever had. You're offering him a young secondary. His strength isn't secondary. His strength is linebacking core, but he does have some young linebackers. But him, Warner and Greenlaw, he has history with them. So there is stuff that Saleh is like, okay, I have this I can work with. You got a young secondary core. You know what I mean?
I don't think that's an argument because look, he went to New York to the Jets and fucking had a top-ranking defense from nothing.
Yeah, they had pretty good.
He took some of the former Niner players that he knew, and worked with them.
Yeah.
But, so I think he could come do the same thing with these young players if they're really that good. I think he could.
I just think a lot of teams. Okay, so here's another thing, right? I think the defense, right, needs to. They do the wide 9 and they rely on the nickel too much, right? And we've seen that this run defense has gotten terrible, right? Since we lost Eric Armstead. And so one of the free agents that I know for sure the 49ers might have an option to bring back, and you might agree with this one, is DJ Jones. He's a great run defender.
Yeah.
See, he's a free agent, right? So maybe the 49ers can bring him back, right?
But he left and got paid by Denver. I don't think he'll come back.
No, he's a free agent. Like a free agent.
But he's going to want to get paid.
So maybe, but that's what I'm saying. This run defense is terrible, right? So unless the 49ers move away from the nickel and they go back to a more traditional, like heavy linebacker, otherwise, what are they going to do? They're just going to keep giving up run. That's what I'm saying. I think this Y9 is kind of figured out. Like, that's why I'm like kind of like against like, well, they need to change something. Otherwise, we're not going to do anything. We're going to see the same thing we've seen this year. I don't care how weak the schedule is.
It ain't got figured out until they got rid of the coaches. You know what I mean? Under D'Amico, it was still good. Once we went to Wilkes, that's when it was shit. Because we was trying to blitz more.
Yeah.
DBs. He was trying to add in some DB blitzes and shit. Because he was a DB coach.
But dude, we still finished. But
we went to fucking, who was our Swanson?
Yeah, the clone of Kyle Shanahan. Defense just fell apart. But the thing is, this is all everything Kyle Shanahan. This is all Kyle Shanahan's moves year to year, right?
We've been putting it on Kyle Shanahan.
But hold on, with Wilkes, right? This is my thing with Wilkes. I just had this debate with somebody, right? So Wilkes, right? We still finished third in points allowed that year, right? For the whole season, 17 games, right? One of the best defensive teams we had that year. It was also one of the best offensive teams we had that year. They played really good that year, right? Went to the fucking Super Bowl with that defense. Now, not allowing a touchdown in regulation to fucking Mahomes, but we led the league in interceptions that year with Wilkes. And then this year we had like 5 interceptions all year or some shit. You know what I mean? Like this defense completely fell off. So he did some good shit and he was just a scapegoat. Like it was the easiest move for the 49ers to make. So I just don't see any continuity with the defense with, you know what I'm saying? No matter who they bring in, right? Like, yeah, okay, I think they want to bring continuity back. So it's like, okay, let's bring in the old fake, right? You know what I mean? Like, so I see the move. I just don't think it's going to happen because we've seen so many moves blow up in the 49ers face. They wanted fucking the dude before they signed Devondre Campbell. And and then they signed a contract and then they backed out and we're like, nah, fuck that. You know what I mean? That was a sign right there, you know?
Anyways, getting back to Saleh, not necessarily being the Niner coach, because like you said, he had head coaching 3 other offers. And you brought up something about Pittsburgh possibly trading Mike.
Oh, yeah. They've been throwing that out there.
Mike Tomlin. And I think if that happens, I think Saleh would be a perfect fit in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I think he'd fit in perfect there. He'll bring that Pittsburgh attitude because he's known for his.
So you said like if they trade Tomlin for like some picks or something,
if they get rid of Tomlin
and they just bring in Saleh like off the street, that'd be a good move for Pittsburgh, bro.
I think so because Pittsburgh is known for their defense.
Where do you see Tomlin going?
Still Kirk.
Because he got one of those personalities where you can't just put him in like some fucking small market. Well, maybe you could, you know. Because Jeff Ulbrich signed somewhere, but he's a DC, huh? Oh, Atlanta. Okay, yeah. But so let's kind of swing directions to.
Would you take Tomlin over Shanahan?
At this point,
Pittsburgh called and said, "Let's do a coaching swap straight across."
It's hard not to be like let's do it because I don't like Shanahan. Like I'm kind of biased on it. But I don't know what he would bring to this team either. Like offensively, he would. I mean, if he brought in like a whole different OC,
I say move BC to OC and him just fucking worry about the defense.
But that kind of goes back to what I was saying about we're gonna pay Saleh to technically be the head coach because what Kyle Shanahan lacks is leadership capabilities. Mike Tomlin's a great leader, right? He knows how to be a head coach. He's been a head coach for.
I don't think he lacks leadership capabilities. I mean, he hasn't lost the locker room. He still has a locker room.
I feel like he's lost. Like this defense, you know what I mean? He's fumbled this defense plenty of times, bro.
I don't mean he's lost it.
And we'll see. Okay, so
the players still respect.
Okay, so let me ask you this though, right? Let me ask you this. So let's say none of that happens this year, right? We pretty much because Jed York's already committed that they're gonna stay, right? So let's say this happens again, right? Don't matter how many games we win. Let's just say we don't make the playoffs, right? Do they finally go Shanahan next year?
Yeah.
Because they're probably gonna be locked into Purdy, right? So you know what I mean?
No, I mean
that's my thing, right? This is
not necessarily, bro. Because Now you're looking at a fans perspective, Super Bowl or nothing. As the owner's perspective, all they care about is the money bringing in. So if you're a 500 team or a playoff team every year,
But you don't think 2 bad years in a row would like definitely put the nail in the coffin? You know what I mean?
so
But would you finally like be like
consider it a rebuild?
Because you and I have said for
they'll call it a rebuild.
But you and I have said for them to fire him multiple times this season. Yeah. From there, yeah. It's going to continue. But so I was going to tell you, right? Just to kind of swing the conversation over to more like people they could bring in. Earlier, I was having this debate with some dude. They've been putting it out there. Did you see what Yamador tweeted about Max Crosby? He was like, Max Crosby would look good in a 49er jersey. So, yeah, that kind of went viral. I commented, I started commenting on it. And my take is this, right? I don't think he's that good. I think he's kind of overrated. Somebody tried to tell me he's top 4. And I said, well, then who's number 1?
His numbers keep putting there.
I'd highly doubt that. You think so? Yeah. Would you consider him a top 4 pass rusher? So who's number 1 to you? Because it's not Nick Bosa.
No, probably Myles Garrett.
And then,
well, I mean, dude from Detroit got hurt, but he was top 3.
And I was telling this dude that I think that I personally know, like, my take is this. The pass rusher position, we've kind of talked about it. It's one of the most, like, oversaturated positions in the NFL. That's why I think Bosa is tradable, right? But see, I think Joey Bosa is better than Nick Bosa at this point. You know what I mean?
When it comes down to that,
Khalil Mack is still out there.
I think Nick Bosa's
Daniel Hunter, Micah Parsons.
I think his lack of production. Well, Micah Parsons said he wanted to play for the Niners.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think Bosa's lack of production, it ain't due to not having somebody opposite of him. It's due to not having somebody in the middle of that line that could bust through that fucking line and get to the quarterback, which would draw a double team and take him off Bosa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Back when we had Armstead, we had that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When we had DJ Jones, we had that.
Yeah.
We don't have that.
That's why
we tried to get Hargrave to fill that spot, and he didn't. You know, we drafted Kinlaw to fill that spot. He couldn't.
Yeah, with all these teams making these moves,
that's what we really need. We don't need another edge rusher. We need somebody that's going to be hard nosed and blow that middle up. You know what I mean? A tackle or a nose tackle or something. You know what I mean? Somebody that's just going to get some push on that O line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, DJ Jones too. He'll definitely help out there too. He's a good run defender, but I remember him being a really good, DB.
You just need somebody to push that line back.
But that's where the draft can help us too. And as the season goes on, or the off season goes on, we'll be able to have more information on how that goes. You know? Was he?
I think so.
So Max Crosby, let's say all 3 of them, there's a potential where you could get one of them to be opposite of Bosa. People are going to start throwing his brother out there. But let's say you have Garrett, Parsons, or Crosby. You're obviously obviously Garrett to me. I'm like, well, because he's number 1 in my eyes. You know what I mean? The dude's a beast. You know what I mean? But we don't know that though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If we're going to keep Brock, we can't afford him.
Supposedly we have the most cap space in the NFL.
Which is like $60 million or so.
And I know there's a lot of moves we got to make, but I don't know. It would just be a crazy thing to see, with all these teams making all these moves, head coaching moves. Like maybe there a lot of pieces get moved around, which would really fucking benefit the 49ers. Hey, I did an AI unbiased Brock Purdy scouting report. I'm about to send it to you. It's pretty cool. Like I was like, hey, I want like a completely like it looks like legit, like if it was like analytics and shit. Like, oh, this is pretty dope, Kind of gives you like an understanding of like what they would look at like from both sides, Yeah. Did you know that in 1991 there was they call it the 49ers one day logo?
I know they tried to change it.
Yeah, hey, but I had no idea.
It that funky SF?
Well, this is what it was.
Yeah.
I had no idea about this, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy, bro. And I'm like, bro, I'll bring that shit back, bro. I think that's just kind of clean. But I can see why everybody hated it back then. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was something that popped up. But yeah, I don't. You got anything else you want to bring up? We can pause real quick. I got a bunch of questions I wrote down. Kind of like a final question going into this season. You said if I thought the 49ers can get back into form, right? Which to me would be at least make the playoffs, right? That would show us that, hey, you guys made progress. You learned from 2024. It wasn't just for nothing, right? Like you built off of it, right? Like the defense got better. Like it was all experience for them, right? The offense, hopefully, things change with, the way they managed a lot of these games. I think this was the year that the 49ers passed like the most in a while. And whether or not it hurts Brock Purdy, like in his contract negotiations, that's yet to be seen. For me, it showed me what I feel, like, okay, we kind of seen what Brock Purdy can and can't do, Maybe they lean into that next year and they put him in the best possible situation to win, like we've seen him succeed in last year and the year before that, So there's a lot of things I think the 49ers can do to put them in a position to win, and get better.
I just think Brock Purdy won at the college level, and he didn't have the superstars around him that he does with the Niners.
Yeah.
So he's a proven winner. He's won at every level. He's been to a championship game. We could say he's got experience of 2 championship games in a Super Bowl.
You know who kind of reminded me of him last night? And it was just the way, like when it rains, it pours, was Goff. Like just trying to make a play, and then he throws a pick.
See,
you know what I mean? And Goff has a way better offensive line. I just say that. So I think Brock Purdy's better than Jared Goff. I hate when people say Goff is better than Brock Purdy.
Goff's already had 2 fat contracts in the league.
Exactly. Yeah. So he's gonna get paid, bro. Yeah. He's gonna get paid. You know what I mean?
And Brock Purdy's still done more than Goff has done, and Goff's been in the league twice as long as Purdy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And who knows, bro? Maybe that's all Purdy's ever going to do.
Did you? It could be like what we're seeing with Lamar right now. Look at what I mean? You called Lamar. You said you didn't believe that he could, he got the ability to put his team on his back. I don't know the details of this full game. I mean, they still got some time to go. But so far, it's like we've seen him turn the ball over twice, just in the little bits that we've been paying attention. You know what I mean? So it's like another guy that he has MVP awards and he's got paid. Yeah, he's got money off of it. He's gotten money off of that success, but
or has he gotten in the playoffs?
Maybe like 1 or 2 AFC Championship games.
Has he been to a championship game?
I think so. I think he lost one to KC. Yeah. Maybe just one, actually, now I think about it. Because I've seen a breakdown of all the fucking games that
I just feel like when it comes to mobile quarterbacks, bro, and that's another argument why, I mean, I know we debacle over what's a
debacle? That was the word that this fool couldn't spell the other day.
What's a mobile quarterback? It was me too. When like Lamar, bro, I think he gets desperate and tries to do too much by himself rather than rely on his players. Where I don't think Josh Allen does. When Josh Allen has to, he will, but I don't think he'll put the game on his back solely and hurt the team. Where I feel like Lamar will.
And that was my thing this season was before Jaden Daniels' success. These past 2 games on Friday night, I was comparing Jaden Daniels to Brock Purdy. And I was saying how in that same situation, like Jaden Daniels obviously has had a lot of success this season. And maybe as the next 2 years goes on, teams start to figure him out. Maybe it starts looks clean as fuck. Teams start to figure him out and it starts to trend a little downhill for him as well, right? But Brock Purdy this season, there was multiple times, right, where these games this year were 1-score games. And Brock Purdy was driving downfield and he had to make a play and he turned the ball over. And in that situation, he turned the ball over 10 times this year. And that's why I kind of have a different opinion now. And I'm just like, it really surprises me that you're still so like, I'm not saying you're like gung-ho.
Jared Goff do the same thing. You said.
I never liked Jared Goff, though.
But he's, I hate him. Consider him one of the top quarterbacks.
I hate him. No, they do, yeah. Yeah.
You see him.
They say he's better than Brock.
Jordan Love do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've seen all these quarterbacks do the same thing.
Oh, no, yeah. And they're all paid. No. I know. I'm not talking about. No, I'm saying you're I'm saying if it was any other quarterback, I think you'd be like, that dude sucks. That's what I'm saying. You don't think so? You know what I mean? Like because Brock Purdy kind of sucked this year, is what I'm saying. Like they're where it mattered most, he blew it.
He had everything stacked against him, bro. Every quarterback has a bad season. What determines it is how they recover from it. Look at Carson Wentz. He had a perfect example.
Yeah.
Went to the Super Bowl, had similar start as Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Had a bad season. Where's he been ever since?
Well, no, that's another knock on Shanahan.
Let's see how Brock Purdy bounces back.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So what I was gonna say though, right? So the fact that Shanahan never invested in the offensive line doesn't help Brock, right? So we've seen a lot of teams this year in the playoffs have hella injury issues, right? Houston, Texas, still successful. Detroit Lions, still successful, right? They had almost as much injuries as the 49ers. But where those teams differed from the 49ers is they have really good offensive lines to begin with. Yeah, so when the 49ers have injuries issues, especially at the offensive line, it makes that offensive line even worse, right? So hopefully the 49ers, bro, if they invest, trust and believe, bro. So you said earlier, you put Brock on some of these other teams, you think he could, be successful or more successful. I think it depends on the offensive line, right? Like if you put him on Philly, he's probably going to be just as successful as they've been, right? You put him on Detroit, he'd probably just be just as successful as they are. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the continued debate would be whether or not he takes him over the top. So if he could do that this year, like you said, if he could bounce back after a bad season,
now
my opinion changes after that,
See, you just put him on two teams that are in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Let's put him on.
We talked about New Orleans last week. Yeah, no, I don't think he does. I think he falls apart. He fell apart this year on the one of the best teams in the NFL.
All their
Okay, but let me ask you this though. But let me compare this real quick, right? Let me put on this. Okay, so hurt players, so the replacement players aren't that good, right? Why is New Orleans not that good? Because their players aren't that good. So
they don't.
But regardless of quarterback, what I'm saying is
hurt, and then they got.
I know.
Spencer Rattler who can.
I know, but what I'm saying is you're asking me if Brock Purdy can take it over and make that quarterback play better. He couldn't do that this year on the 49ers. He couldn't do it with Brandon Ayuk on the field. He couldn't do it when CMC was on the field. He couldn't do it when Sherrick Williams was on the field. He couldn't do it when Kittle was on the field all year. He had every opportunity to win these games, and in those opportunities, he threw 10 interceptions.
Yeah, but see, you're looking at one side, and he's locked into Shanahan's thing, and Shanahan's already said we don't give him the freedom. On these other teams,
but have you looked at his college play, bro?
On these other teams, he might have more freedom. They give their quarterbacks freedom. I think he could do it.
I know.
Potential to be a game changer.
But I'm saying too, like he also has the potential to be imploded, like some of these other guys. You know what I mean? Like we've seen that so many times.
Every quarterback does.
And that's why I'm just like,
Mariota. Look at Mariota.
But that's why I'm just like,
Sam Darnold was a number one draft pick at one time.
But that's why I say we see, and that's the one I'm.
Number one overall.
So if I get another Brock Purdy,
and my thing is what gets me so not frustrated, I guess, is when people compare Brock to some of these top 5 picks. When Brock's the last pick in the league, there should be no expectations on him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But you put expectations on him, like Brock Purdy didn't even make $1 million paycheck this year. Like you're comparing him to guys $40, $50 million.
He said some shit about kind of like, like when you don't make that much money, like it doesn't make sense or something like that. And he's like, and he's like, and the gifts actually got to come from you. He's like, this isn't a commercial. It was like pretty much like Peyton Manning was taking a shot at Brock, like
the trucks only came.
We know it. Yeah, it was all commercialized, like Brock Purdy's getting his money. You said that last year, like he's been getting his money, like outside of the game. Yeah. And that's why his agent is going to play a really huge factor in what happens, because his agent's going to be the one that's probably wants to make a name for himself.
Same time, I mean, look at Tom Brady, considered the best quarterback ever to go, right?
Yeah,
and he always took team-friendly deals so the players around him could get paid. so he could have the best team around him. So with Brock Purdy not needing money, well, with that being said, Tom Brady just gave up fucking $250 million.
What?
To buy the Raiders?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Taking team-friendly deals, he still had $250 million to just fucking throw away.
So what do you think honestly
Raiders are
happens
trash.
though? Like, what do you think happens? Like, let's lay it out right now. I want to hear Ray's prediction. Like, with the Brock Purdy, you think he does get a big contract?
I think he does.
Yeah, more like one of the bigger ones, or like you think they kind of get it to where it's like,
I mean, it depends because Patrick Mahomes got one of the bigger contracts.
over 10 years, like
10 years, so like his annual salary ain't that much.
Well, and that's the thing though too, that like, so let's say it worked out with Patrick Mahomes, right? Let's say they do one of those where like, oh, we're gonna pay Brock Purdy this much over 7 years, like some crazy shit, right? The thing is it makes, like, let's say it doesn't work out, it makes other teams not want to take on those contracts, like when it comes to like a trade or something, because it's so much money, they'll back end it. Yeah,
I mean,
and honestly, I agree with you on that. Like, I think that's probably what's gonna happen. And like I said, so moving forward, like I'm more interested in seeing how it affects the roster moving forward, because you've seen how many free agents there is. You said it earlier. You would like them to bring back Jordan Mason. I would like that. Aaron Banks, offensive line is going to continue to be an issue. Hopefully they can bring him back. Who, Aaron Banks? I mean, he's one of the best left guards there is. I mean,
he's going to want a fat contract.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. So we both agree that Brock Purdy's probably going to get a big contract. So what I'm saying is, like, I'm interested to see how that affects who they can and can't bring back, right? So if they go, hey, now we can't bring back Aaron Banks, okay, cool. But who are you going to replace Aaron Banks with?
Draft or free agency.
Yeah, so then we're going into next season, like, really young at the offensive line again. Hopefully we get some studs like we did with Dominic Purdy. You know what I mean?
With Aaron Banks is he hasn't been consistent. He's been in our
He hasn't been
in our program for how many years already?
For a while, bro. He's a starter. He's one of the best left guards there is. I'm in my opinion. I think he is. You know what I mean? I don't know how many there are in the NFL. 32. You know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, you know what I mean? Like our left line was one of the best when Trent Williams was playing, right? Even when Jalen Moore was playing, and Aaron Banks got hurt this season, I think. But for the most part, he was pretty healthy. You know.
Say we let him go because he's gonna want too much money.
And so
that's the thing. We're
okay. So, yeah. So then, Dre Greenlaw, does he want too much money? Does he take a team friendly? So do you let Dre Greenlaw go if he wants too much money, or is he more valuable than Aaron Banks?
I think Dre Greenlaw. He's already had the.
But I'm asking you, like, who's more valuable to the team in your opinion? If you had to pick one of those two, because Brock Purdy's success hinders on the offensive line.
You can't ask me that because their contracts are different. Greenlaw's $15 to $20 million, and Aaron Banks is $5 to $8 million.
Okay, but if they don't pay Brock Purdy, then it's not that big of an issue. If they pay Brock Purdy, that becomes a bigger issue. Is what I'm saying.
One's defense and one's offense, and one's contract is way bigger than the other.
But we don't know that. Again, just yeah. They could take a 1 year like friendly. Yeah.
Tough position.
I was just saying, who would you rather lose?
Let's say Greenlaw takes a 1 year friendly deal for $17 million that year.
I don't even. Yeah. No. I know. I can't even talk about the money because it's hypothetical. I don't even know where to begin. But I was just asking you, who would you rather if you had to pick one? You know what I mean? Because you want Brock Purdy to be successful, right?
Both probably going to be gone. To be honest,
that's pretty bold. I haven't entertained that idea. I'd be pretty upset, bro.
Like I said, bro, we just have to come to the realization is we're going to lose some players we want to keep.
Okay, so going into next season with these guys being that young and you thinking they're all going to be gone, you still think the 49ers are going to make it to the playoffs in 2025?
I mean, I think they have the potential to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they work on some things.
Yeah.
I think if they put a lot of focus in their offensive line and put the middle of their D line.
Yeah.
I think that's where they need to work at. I think they could do just fine with their, you're going to bring in you're going to bring in depth, maybe a running back. You might draft a running back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hear a lot of talk about fucking going out and picking up a Zach Wilson as a backup.
Quarterback,
yeah. I think he's
not like too. Yeah, he's not like too. He's not like somebody that would really like put Brock Purdy in
He has
You
potential,
know?
bro. He was the number 1 overall pick. He had a lot of.
He kind of lacks like that. Like what I like about Brock Purdy, me and you talk about is like, you know, he's out there like, let's fucking go. You know what I mean? Like Zach Wilson's like,
Wilson's more timid.
come on, guys. Yeah, he's one of those dudes.
You know, and that's kind
Okay.
of where,
Okay, so let me
he
tell
had
you.
a season under.
So I just want to kind of round this out real quick because I think that kind of covers what we will be covering over the next couple of weeks as the offseason progresses, right? So maybe the Brock Purdy contract gets taken early. I think we kind of hope that gets done. I don't think we want it to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We want that shit to get done early as a 49er fan, you know?
Get done early. That way we know what we got to work with.
So then we start moving on,
who we could pick up in free agency, who we could re-sign.
Who they retain, So then that brings us to like the draft, right? I've seen the 49ers are going into this draft with 12 picks overall. I don't know exactly where they are.
But I've seen they're getting like 8 to 10 compensatory picks too.
No, I've seen the totals altogether 12. So you got 7 rounds, right? Usually you get 1 pick per round. And so the compensatory picks, they're going to be at 12 altogether. They can bundle picks and trade. You don't get 20-something picks a draft. No, that's too much. The draft would go on for like a week. There's only 7 rounds. Huh? Yeah, it's 3 days. So the first round is just, the first day is just round 1. And the second day is 2 and 3. I think maybe 4. And then either Sunday is 4, 5, 6, and 7. Right. Yeah.
Maybe they're getting like 10 or 11.
So yeah, normally the way it is you only get 1 pick per round, right? And there's 7 rounds. So teams get extra picks by trades, but now they got that compensatory thing, right?
I think it was like 10 or 11 or 12.
Yeah, so right now they have 12, and they would have had more, but they forfeited that 1, right? Because of that money thing. So let's say what are your biggest? We already know biggest thing is rebuild. But the most thing I guess the people I see agreeing the most, or the topic I see people agreeing the most on, is the 49ers need to kind of rebuild the trenches, right? O-line, D-line, right? So earlier you brought a first and second round, and maybe you were just kind of like getting into it, and then I said let's save it for the pod, right? You said they should go D-line. So I was telling someone I think the 49ers have to go best available player, right? And that's why all those picks and free agents, all that stuff helps us, right? So moving forward, though, they can get depth in the draft, right? They can get depth at offensive line. You can get 2 offensive linemen. That leaves you with 9 picks. You can get 2 defensive linemen. That leaves you with 7 picks. You can get a linebacker. That leaves you with 6. You can get a running back. That leaves you with 5. You can get a tight end. That leaves you with 4. Like the 49ers have hella possibilities with the draft this year. So I'm really excited for that. It's just going to be a while before we can really dive deep into it and get into it. But I didn't know if you were just kind of like, if you had knew that the 49ers had all those picks coming this year. So they could bundle some moves, bundle some picks up and make some moves. And that would be interesting to see as well. I don't know if that's going to happen, some big moves, but I always predict something like that. I know it's time to start wrapping it up when I start losing my voice. Ray, final thoughts?
Yeah, we have to wait and see.
Wait and see.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
I want to make no predictions right now.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, we've got a lot of young upcoming teams to compete with these next years. I mean, Washington's
upcoming
proof of that. Nobody gave them a chance to knock off Detroit. They did.
Yeah, I gave them a chance. You said I was crazy, huh?
I thought so. Again, I think Chicago might be a young upcoming team. So Atlanta,
Carolina.
Atlanta's, I think they're looking for a quarterback.
Oh, they got one. That dude they drafted.
Yeah.
Penix. So they're gonna rock with him, but the dude in Carolina looks like he's locked in. Huff, is it Huff? Bryce Huff or something like that. Yeah. Jaden Daniels. Washington, you already touched on that.
So yeah, there's a lot of.
And bro, as much as I hate Philly, we're gonna continue to have to compete with Philly. They're a young team.
Yeah.
The Rams, who knows what happens with them. And Baltimore looks like they're going to go on a little push here.
Yeah.
But, that's my, again, it's still early in the offseason. The 49 Problems is going to continue. We're going to continue to bring you guys more like content and do things like this. So continue to follow us on YouTube as we post more videos on there. As you see, Ray has continued to working on the studio in his spot. So we're growers, we're not showers.
soon start working on Kyle's, get his going.
Start getting this guy to actually start doing some behind the scenes stuff. Start getting some like actual video instead of this grainy shit.
Right now, you said behind the scenes, you started looking for the.
Yeah, the casting couch. Yeah, definitely. I want to start getting into more like to start doing like YouTube. I was doing it earlier, fucking with like so like if we were to do like a segment or like when I do those little breaks, I want to start like putting in like little segments like so like I can but like actual like animations and shit. Start getting more into like production. I really like getting into like this little hobby shit. Like it's kind of motivating me the way you're setting your stuff up. So that'll be fun. And I know you got a little setup too, huh? Because we could all kind of go like online one day too and just do like face to face, like fucking shit like that with our cameras and shit. This feels like no, I ain't doing gay shit. Anyway, for the 49 Problems, Kyle J. Vigil,
Ray J. Garcia, Cortez J. the unpaid intern,
Cortez J. Cortez. As always, see y'all next time.
Go to I'm Dead and Cold.
Follow us on YouTube and Spotify.
Who has it better than us?
Nobody. Final prediction, I'm going to say Washington versus Baltimore in the Super Bowl.
Washington Buffalo.
Bye.